ายการต่อไปนี้เป็นรายการทั่วไปสามารถรับชมได้ทุกวัย
สนับสนุนโดย AIA วันนี้คุณตรวจสุขภาพการเงินแล้วหรือยัง Exim Bank ไม่ว่าธุรกิจขนาดไหนก็ไปได้ไกลถึงต่างแดน
สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีค่ะ
ที่จรโลกวันนี้เป็นเรื่องที่ผมขอร้องอ้อนวอนคุณวีณารัตน์เป็นพิเศษผมบอกว่าเราเคยสัมภาษณ์ทูตที่พูดภาษาไทยได้เคยสัมภาษณ์ทูตที่เป็นคนที่มีผลงานระดับโลกมาแต่ส่วนใหญ่เป็นผู้ชายหมดผมว่าผมสังเกตในวงการทูตของต่างประเทศในกรุงเทพช่วงนี้มีสุภาพสตรีตั้งหลายท่านนะแล้วทำไมคุณวีณารัตน์มีความสามารถไหมที่จะชวนมานั่งโต๊ะเดียวกันเลย
ดิฉันเลยเชิญมา4ท่านก่อน
พร้อมกันเลยเหรอ
พร้อมกันเลย
มาที่เดียวกันเลยเหรอครับ
มาที่นี่เลยค่ะแล้วก็มาคุยกันเกี่ยวกับประเด็นของผู้หญิงเลยทีนี้อยากให้คุยเรื่องผู้หญิงเราก็คุยกันเลยเรื่องของผู้หญิงไปดูนะคะว่าใน4ประเทศค่ะนอร์เวย์แอฟริกาใต้อิสราเอลแล้วก็อินเดียความเหมือนความต่างในแง่ของสิทธิสตรีหรือว่ามุมมองของผู้ชายที่มีต่อผู้หญิงหรือว่ากฎหมายในแต่ละประเทศมันมีความเหมือนความต่างยังไงนะคะแล้วก็ท่านทูตทั้ง4คนอยู่เมืองไทยกันมาก็พอสมควร 2-3 ปีแล้วก็ทำงานการทูตเป็นทูตมาตั้งแต่ยังไม่ได้เป็นท่านทูตประจำประเทศไทยนะคะแต่ละคนประสบการณ์ก็10 กว่าปี20 กว่าปีขึ้นทั้งนั้นเลย
ฉะนั้นวันนี้ผมต้องหลบแล้วครับหลบให้คุณวีณารัตน์สัมภาษณ์เอกอัครราชทูตผู้หญิงทั้งหมดเลยนะครับเป็นเอกอัครราชทูตเต็มที่เลยนะครับผมจะหลบไปฟังข้างๆข้างหลังดูซิว่าเวลาคุณวีณารัตน์เจอผู้หญิงเก่งๆเหมือนกับเธอเวลาแลกเปลี่ยนใครสู้กับใครได้บ้างฉะนั้นวันนี้พิเศษจริงๆครับ
Ambassador Reddy in terms of gender equality what are some of the biggest challenges that Indian women face today
I would say the government has done everything it can to put into place mechanisms. I would say the biggest challenge is to persuade people, to persuade society to actually comply with those mechanisms. For example, Indian women have had the vote since 1947. You've had total equality according to the constitution also from that day and so on. But in actual fact, there are many cases where this is not being observed and we all know about it. The question is, how do you persuade people? How do you ensure that women do in fact get equality? I would say this is a big issue. The second issue I would say is developmental related and perhaps not only for women. It's an issue as much for men. Though I must say, by and large, I find that women tend to get less attention than men even when it comes to developmental issues. Issues like literacy, access of education, health facilities, and equal I would say basically schooling opportunities for girls as compared to boys.
On the other side of the spectrum, I would say is Norway then, because Norway and the other Nordic countries are well known for its progress on women's rights. Are Norwegian women facing any equality problems today?
The challenges we are faced with now has a lot to do with people's private choices, how they organize their own families, how you make men take a greater responsibility for family and home life in a way. And if you look at the statistics, it's still in Norway the case that men earn more than women. So why is that?
You mean for the same job?
Also for the same job or what we would consider equal level jobs. But part of the problem is of course that it's not exactly the same jobs and men and women sometimes choose different kinds of careers. And why do they do that? That's one question. That is an actual case. And then we also see that many more women choose to work part-time and therefore they earn less of course. Many women choose to end their career before they reach the highest levels. It's not that they cannot reach the highest levels, but many women choose to halt it before that. Why does that happen? These kinds of questions are still challenges to Norwegian women, I think, and to Norwegian society.
What about Israeli women, Ambassador Rubinstein? Where would you be if this is India on one spectrum and Norway on the other?
I think we are just a little bit closer to Norway in a sense that we have full equality in the society and between men and women in Israel. One of the challenges that I see in Israel is really to encourage women to join the labor force and really to join and to try to do more than just kind of regular, I would say, work that they used to do before. For instance, if you take the diplomatic world, for instance, in my diplomatic course, we were 25. 5 women, 20 men. Now the question is why it's not 50-50? Why it's not 50-50? And it's not because women are less talented, of course not. On the contrary, I would say, because of those 25, 5 of us stayed, and some of the men, meaning some of the 20, had to leave the Ministry of Foreign Affairs because they were not good enough. So this is not the issue. The issue is, I think, that women are giving up before even trying, really to compete with men. And this is something that I would like to change in my society, in Israel. But again, I'm quite pleased with what we've done so far, although we need to do a little bit more. For instance, in Israel, we just passed a law about equal salary for men and women doing the same job or semi-equal job. This is something that forbid to discriminate between men and women in Israel. So this is something that maybe we're a little bit different than Norway, in the good side. But again, we still have some work to do, mainly encouraging women to be more active, I would say, and to join, for instance, the political life or diplomatic life or kind of more influential kind of jobs.
Right. What about South Africa, Ambassador Makaka? Where would you be?
Well, I would be a little bit somewhere in between all these countries. South Africa empowerment of women is a political agenda and a big one. You'll realize that we are a fairly new country in terms of democracy. But I must say that women have taken up the challenge very well. Overall, the representation of women all across the board is around 37%. It could be better. I find that women are actually more willing to perform roles that whether those roles are previously defined as men's roles or not, women are just willing to do it. Of course, there would always be a need to change the attitudes. There would always be a need to exercise acceptance. But in terms of the legislation, in fact, it does encourage women to take up meaningful roles in society, in government, in the private sector, and everywhere else. And we were quite comfortable that we can still do better. We're happy with what we have achieved, but there's a lot going forward.